Welcome to the Xylophone Podcast. I'm your host, Brittani Starr, and I am so excited to introduce you today to Rebecca Heidt, an indie author who is releasing another part in her series. I think there's two right now, but she's still working on more. This is so exciting to bring her. They are also in the LGBTQTIA category.
Hello there, my friend. I was hoping you'd stop by. Grab your favorite beverage and a cozy blanket. It's time again for Conversations with Indie Authors.
Welcome, Rebecca Heidt, to the Xylophone Podcast. I'm so excited that you're here today.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited also.
So you're writing a series right now. You're in progress?
Yes, that is correct.
And so the series is called The Acceptance?
So it's the Acceptance series, and each book has its own sub-series, but I mean, it's a technicality. So it's all sort of relating a journey, like personal journey. And I did that intentional. So the beginning means, you start your growth journey. The reality, when you actually start it, there's a lot of shadow nights and there's a lot of like digging in there and crying and mental breakdowns, and like you have to like solve all of the little inner child hurting. And I mean, that's the reality of growth. And then I'm working on Reborn right now, where you're in a better spot in your journey, but you're still not quite at the end. And then the last one will be sort of a finisher, if you will.
So these books are a reflection of you as well. They're your journey going through all of this. Is that correct?
That is correct. So it's a weird combination between my personal journey and my knowledge. So I have like all this knowledge of random things or things I care about. I didn't know how to share it with anybody. So I made a story, and then it also was my therapy, and it's also hopefully therapy for other people.
That's awesome. But it's also in the LGBTQIA plus arena. So how does that work in?
Right. So the main character, she is bisexual.
Okay.
I don't really it's not a coming out story. It's just she is bisexual and she just lives her life, and people around her are like, yeah, so who are you dating, a boy or a girl? And she's like, I don't love anybody. And like, she's like, I don't have time for that. So I mean, it's her learning how to love herself and also love people outside of herself, and still keep the morals that she grew up with and the ideologies of herself without losing it to, because when you are in love with people, they become you, like you are sponging their personality, and it's hard to sometimes remain yourself and still love the things you love. And so I mean, we're all doing that.
Right. So that's what it's about then. So it's not really about the sexuality or any gender things. It's more about just your spiritual journey or your soul journey to get through and what we're doing.
Yeah, so funny. Yeah, so in my books, it was really, really important, especially for the queer community, the gay community, that I made it not a huge deal, but made it representative. So like, she's in a club, she's dancing with a girl, and like the person who lets her into the club, he's gay and has a partner, and like someone on her team later in the book is also married to a male. And I add a non-binary, actually, in book 3 I'm working on. So like, I'm trying to do my best to give, everyone the platform and a voice where I can. But it's not a discovery. It's just people are existing in their lives, and he's married to a man, and that's how it is.
It's just representative of real life, of where we are.
Yeah.
Do you have any other books, or is this your series?
So I started writing these when I was very young, and then I stopped because I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. And then I came back to it later in life, as you do sometimes, and gave it the justice it needed. Because it's not just about the spiritual journey, it's also about earth, it's about the tree of knowledge, it's about like moral things that we deal with all the time, and it addresses that a little bit. but so the Acceptance series, and then I also want to do a side spin-off of that because it's going to deal with mythologies. I was thinking about Norse mythology specifically, and I want to do that justice. So I might like do a comic book or something on the side. There's another one I started when I was 19, and it's actually a periodical LGBT story of London, England, and Victorian age. And I wrote 2 chapters, put it down, and never did anything with it ever. And I was like, this is so good, but it like hurt something in me. And I was like, I can't write this right now. So I'll write it eventually because I love England so much. I love the British culture. Like I'm so British in my heart and in my soul. I just love it. So it has to come out at some point.
Well, that sounds exciting. I'm glad that you brought up mythology and spirituality because I wanted to hit on that today. That was actually one of the reasons we first started talking was the occult. And yes. We're coming into the best season of all, and my favorite. Last year I did a podcast on Samhain, and I even wrote a song, however terrible it is. I'm like, I feel inspired, I do it, and whether I'm good or not, whatever.
It's the effort.
It's the effort. Yeah. It's I'm expressing anyways. But so can you tell us about Samhain a little bit?
Sure, absolutely. So it's the crazy thing about the holiday is that it was based upon Druids, pagan, Wiccan, the multi god, I guess, religions, more or less. So they essentially have this holiday that's about a fire festival, and it's you let your hearth run out. You make a big fire in the middle of the town, and it's a big quote unquote sacrifice, but not really. It's like the symbolism behind it. You know what I mean? Like, we love you. We love the fire. It's going to be cold soon. You're going to light our way. You're going to warm our homes. And it's like coming from a place of love and trust in the fire that it's going to lend to the home. So they would take a piece of the fire, take it back to the homes, relight their hearths, and it'd be like the new year. Like, it's a brand new, like it's a new beginning. And so with that also, it's said that the veil is thin. I mean, every full moon it's always thin, but on Samhain in particular, it's like thinner. So the good thing to do is to have protection around you at all times. And also, this is a good time to send out manifestations or intentions that you want for the new year coming up for the wheel, which is wheel, if you will. And it's so funny because we do trick-or-treating, and that had to do with the belief of ghosts, ancestors, and fairies coming around to like steal people. Like, I don't know where that came from, but like they always steal people. Like, why do people need to be stolen? I don't like. We have enough problems. But that they would leave like gifts out. So that's where the candy came from. They would leave gifts out to ask them not to steal their people. And so like, hey, trick or treat, are we tricking you, or is this a treat? That kind of thing. No stealing, no people stealing. Yeah.
No. I mean, well, fine. So how do you celebrate Samhain?
So I over the years I sort of I was always a moon person. So I actually read that I love fall. I should also add that I'm a huge fall person. Like, I don't know what kind of past life I lived that made me absolutely adore fall, but as soon as fall comes around, I'm like a new person.
Me too.
Like, I don't know what kind of woods I went out to and like hopped around in a cloak or something. I don't know. But I'm like, fall, yes, tree, yes, moon, yes, I got this, fire, okay. So I sort of gradually rotated through I like to just spend it outside usually. like outside. I talk to the moon often because, the moon glows our way in the night and is, comforting everyone. Not any, like, so even if people are not of the religion, spiritual religion, they look at the moon and they find comfort.
Mm-hmm.
That's just the way so
Yeah.
Halloween starts at sundown. I read that. I looked it up because I always wondered. So there's a reason why when the sun goes down for Samhain that it feels different, because that's when it starts and it goes all the way till November 1st when the sun goes down again. So the day is held differently, and so the energy and everything feels differently. So I speak my manifestations out loud. I usually say, Spirit, thank you for your guidance in this past year, in the future you're bringing, that stuff. So in Samhain, that's what I do. I'm always connected to my ancestors and my spirit guides. And I, of course, will be like, I just keep an eye out for me, guys. Like, I would really appreciate the guidance and like the wherewithal not to run myself into the ground. Please continue sending me signs. I just ask for help. But the important thing is when a door like that is open and you put enough power into it, take what you need, but let go of what you don't. Don't take everything.
Yeah.
Because we're not meant to know everything. There's danger in that. You know what I mean? So like, take what you need.
That makes sense. Don't take more than, yeah, that's actually perfect. So tell us about your what you live in around Philadelphia, because that's where your book signing is happening. Tell us about your book signing.
Yeah, so I've done a couple of Barnes and Noble book signings. As a self-published author, it's a big deal because not all bookstores lets us into their doors to sign things and give them out to people. So I actually got rejected from about 5 smaller bookstores.
Okay.
And then I reached out to Barnes and Noble first in Exton, and they're like, absolutely. And I was like, I found something. I found something here. And so I went to Exton, and then so I went to Plymouth Meeting, and they said that I had to give them my self-published book beforehand so they can read it. So I had to audition to do an author signing there.
Okay.
So they agreed. So I won. They were like, yes, we would love to have you. I was like, it's good enough for Barnes and Noble. All right. So
that means your book is good. It was a good read then.
yeah, I was like, thank you for the compliment that you didn't say. I appreciate you. Yeah.
So you have one coming up soon though. When's your next signing?
It's October 21st in Plymouth Meeting, Pennsylvania. It's outside of the mall in the outskirts in the Megaplex. It's a huge store. It's beautiful. It's massive. They like to put me near the door. I'm the loudest person in the building, always. I'm like the door greeter and the loudest person in the So it's between 1 and 3, October 21st. I'll be there talking people about books, writing, random things. I like to talk about different genres too. This lovely gentleman the one time came up and he's like, I want to do a sci-fi. Do you have any advice? And like, so we talked about it for like 20 minutes, and hopefully I helped him. Hopefully you're out there writing your book.
That's awesome. That's fun. So why did you choose self-publishing?
Mainly because I didn't want to go through all the hoops of traditional publishing. The querying, writing all those letters and then getting refused by other people. And I wasn't interested. So I researched a lot. And I found that self-publishing was the easiest and best way to go, but I did it in a way that it almost seems like it's traditional published. Like I did the copywriting with Library of Congress. So I have, connected with them, and I have the page that says, any likeness to people that actually exist is an accident. So people actually think it was the last, well, who did you publish through? I was like, it's me. I did it. It's still me. But they actually believed it was professionally done. And I, again, compliment, no one said, appreciate you.
Mhm.
But it also allows me more hands-on. So for example, I reached out to a TikToker, her name is Laura Horowitz, and she's going to be doing an audiobook of book one at the end of the year. So
Okay.
one of the main questions they ask, traditional or self-published? Traditional, you have to ask permission. They can decline. And there's certain rules and regulations that, you know, like they can't record themselves recording your book. Self-published, I don't care. Read it to the people on TikTok. I don't care. Go ahead, Laura. You do you know, like it's very personalized.
Yeah, a lot more control.
Yes.
And I
Yep.
keep meeting really amazing indie authors. I'm like, there's some kind of stigma that, oh, if you're, self-published, obviously your work isn't going to be as good. And I'm like, I don't think that's true. I've met people with PhDs. I've met, you know what? I'm like, I'm not seeing that.
Yeah.
Sometimes sure, but everybody has a learning curve.
That's
I
true. I'm
I
sorry.
don't expect people to come being fantastic straight out the door unless they have lots of money to do so.
Yeah,
So,
I agree.
yeah.
I absolutely agree. I mean, honestly, I think the world is turning away from more traditional everything. You know, like the indie movies on YouTube are starting to be a huge thing. Podcasts, obviously, and
Yeah.
then like self-published indie authors. Even though yes, we can't get into certain awards or certain doors, like Books a Million. I said absolutely not if you're not traditional published. Like, but they carry my stuff online. Like
Oh,
it's like just such weird things, you know? And I think honestly, we as indie and self-published authors are going to end up taking over the market.
I actually agree with you. I think the whole indie movement, this is the essence of what like the United States was created for, was by the people.
Mm.
And that's what this is. I'm like, that's what we're doing. We're sick of your stuffed shirts and telling us what to do. We're gonna live life on our terms, not what you tell us we're allowed. And I think that's
Literally.
what's happening. Yeah.
Yeah, literally. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
that's what my passion is for the indie authors. And I'm like, absolutely not. There's not some corporation pushing you. This is your own passion. And that to me is absolutely stunning.
Yeah. I also feel like because there in all the research I've done, they mentioned that traditional editors will change the tone of your book. And I absolutely was not going to allow that. I'll edit what I need to, but the specific like lines or personality that I put in my books have
Mhm.
to be that's non-negotiable because that's the point of the book. And
Right.
that was like a key indicator for me that I'm gonna do what I do. And for indie authors, like we have a reason for writing it. There's something behind it, whether we want to express a hurt or we're trying to deal with a trauma via writing, which is sort of everybody. I mean, it exists for a reason, and we're gonna take over the world. No, I'm just kidding. Let's do that. No, we're not. We're not. I was just kidding. We're not gonna take over anything.
Then creativity.
Yeah, the world will fall apart on its own without our help.
That's true. That's true. I don't really have to do anything. So, well, let's see. Okay. Well, you look really nice. I love your dress. Like the stars. That's perfect.
I
I'm
wore
like,
this just for you.
I almost wore stars, and I'm like, okay, Brittany, that's too cheesy. Love
Yeah, I did it.
it. I should have done it. What advice would you give indie authors?
There can be fear around writing and moving into an area you're not familiar with. When I started writing my series, I had no idea what I was doing other than there was a story, I wanted to tell it. So my advice is work past the fear, do the best you can. I mean, at your time for sure. Like I wrote my first book, I think within a year, and that's pretty quick. And I, put it out there. If you need to take time, if you have a family you need to help and care for, like make a schedule. Do like 30 minutes in the morning, 30 minutes at night, like set up a guideline, carry a notebook around with you. The book, if you're passionate enough, will get made. The barriers and self-doubt that potentially yourself or other people have are they're not materialistic, meaning they only exist because of your fear. If someone in my family said, no, that's an awful idea, you're not going to make any money, I would be like, I'm so glad that you're me in my life. Like, I don't, why are you telling me this? Like, I don't care. Like, go build your like bridges or whatever you do. Like, let me have my thing. So not everyone will understand why we write what we do, the art we make and everything like that. And not everyone's going to like your book, and that's fine. You love it. That's all that matters. Other people in the world will love it too because it's passionate.
Absolutely. And where can we find you on social? What social are you most active on?
That is a great question. I check all of them like 5 times a day. It's really unhealthy. So I'm on Facebook. So it's Rebecca Heidt author on Facebook. And I'm also on Instagram. I actually have 2. I have Height Bristow Revolution is my main account, and then Rebecca Heidt author for my secondary account. And then on TikTok, I have a bunch of videos. It's called The Exalted Peacock is my handle. And I think I'm on there the most because, it's TikTok. So
TikTok.
you know.
What can you do? So what does the exalted peacock mean? What is that?
So my dad, so there's artistic people in my family in the sense of we're in ways performers. My dad was very people oriented. He liked crowds. I have actors that were professional. My grandparents were professional actors. And we just were very performing. And so he called me a peacock one time because I'm like razzle dazzle spirit fingers over here. And he's like, and he would laugh because he's like, I'm a showman, but you're like a peacock. And I was like, gobble, gobble, that's right. Absolutely. So I took that, and when TikTok came out, they're like, what's your handle? And I was like, the peacock? And they were like, no, someone took that. You have to pick something else. So I put it in a generator, and it was like exalted peacock, meaning like risen peacock. I don't really know what that means. Like, risen. I don't want to say anointed because that's a bit extreme, but so,
No.
yeah, I'm like, I'm not like that, like for sure. I love all people and we're all the same, but I thought it was so cute. I even drew my own little background, like a sign, like with pastel colors and stuff. I mean, it was a whole thing.
Nice. I love it. So do you have your book right there to show people, or can you tell us the titles again so that we remember?
Sure. I don't have them with me. I'm on the 3rd floor and it's hot, and it's on the 1st floor, and that's very far away. But the titles are Acceptance, the Beginning, and Acceptance, the Reality. So it's on Amazon, Barnes and Noble, and like it's pretty much everywhere actually. Like Target online, Walmart online, eBay, but their prices are like gouging, so I wouldn't really do that. But I've had the pleasure of selling some books in Europe. So there's one German person who buys my stuff right as it comes out, and I appreciate you so much. And I'm trying to like, I don't know your name or where you exist. I just know you're in Germany. You're amazing. Some in France, Japan, India, and England. I appreciate everyone who gives me the time of day and reads my content. I appreciate that.
That's amazing. Thank you so much for being here today. It was so awesome to meet you. I've been looking forward to this for a while. So.
You should have just messaged me, be like, hey, do you want to hang out via Zoom just for reasons? I'd be like, I can't. Yeah, no, you're adorable. You're great.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Cause I am a new podcast. Well, I was podcasting before, but this is my new, having guests is new for me. So yes. I'm excited. I'm getting to meet the most coolest people I've ever met in my life.
We're pretty cool, right? Yeah, like there's a lot of cool people out in the world. I've met some
cool people.
Yeah. So, and I listened to one of a couple of your podcasts before, and you had like the nicest radio voice I've ever heard. And I was like, oh my God. I was like, is she a professional radio host? She should be. So I just want to let you know.
Oh, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. I appreciate you being here, and I really loved meeting you. Thank you so much, Rebecca.
Thank you for joining us on this enlightening episode of the Zarlaquan podcast. Remember to subscribe to our newsletter so you never miss a beat.